Happy Halloween, everyone! So, we do have like a really special talk today. We're going to be talking about narratives in horror games and how that works and how you could like better apply yourself in that sense. But first, we're obviously going to be going through some announcements. Money. Deadline for the VFA members is obviously already over. There is still merch, so if you guys paid for merch or if you guys would like to buy merch, feel free to go bother Josh or Melvin for the payments. The QR code, that's for the sticker and keychain order forms in case you guys want to order some. But yeah, Josh has this bag with all of the merch in it, so if you guys have purchased them, feel free to go bother him. Shirts? Yes, they exist. There was an issue with the licensing with the company we were ordering them from, but they're on the way. We expect to have them by November 9th. That is the CPP. We had to change the design. That is the CPP approved version of the shirt because they wouldn't let us have the original design. So the original had like the Cal Poly Pomona in like a smaller, different font, and they were like, nah, you can't have that. You have to have this specific logo that says Cal Poly on it, and we're like, fine. Anyway. So this week's workshop is going to be about blenders. So it's going to be this Friday from 3 to 5 p.m., Building 6, Room 204. Bring your own blender, please. We don't have enough blenders for everybody, so just feel free. We're going to be talking about how to use them, what you can make with blenders, what kind of smoothies you can make. That was a joke, in case anybody was confused. Obviously, we're talking about the 3D modeling thing. It's going to be taking place again this Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. It's going to be online over Discord, so there's no need to be meeting up in the usual workshop room. And we're going to be learning how to 3D model in Blender. Next week's meeting is the VR Lab. So next Tuesday, we are going to have a guest speaker, which is Dr. Marcus Egger. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he is a CS professor here in the CS department. Namely, he teaches game development. He's going to be talking about game development specifically in virtual reality. Basically, if you guys are interested in taking his course next semester, which is a senior project called the VR Lab, feel free to take it. I had worked in the VR Lab a couple semesters ago, so if you guys have any questions, it's really cool. It's a fun experience. And obviously, if you guys ever get the chance to, I know registration is like kind of happening right now, but if you ever get the chance to, please work with Dr. Egger. He's like a fantastic professor, one of our favorites here. Obviously not biased, but he's great. That was his costume last Halloween. Okay, so now on to spooky narratives. So how do we really write horror narratives in the first place, right? So how do we tell a compelling narrative? So you can always tell the story of a game in many ways. So obviously the most obvious way to do it is through dialogue. And that's like whether you go through text boxes and make dialogue choices. You can also have in-game text or books. So for example, games like Elder Scrolls have a lot of in-game lore that you could read from the books, but it's not really put out there in the world for you. You can learn it from the environment. When you walk around in the world of this video game, what do you see in the environment that tells you more about this world or tells you more about the lore? Obviously, you can also do hidden secrets. You could do some meta-narratives, or you could do basically, like hide a little Easter eggs here and there, Let's take a couple looks, or let's look at some examples of what that basically looks like. Oh, that's weird. There was definitely like a title here before. I don't really know why it, actually today is going to be about the entire Five Nights at Freddy's timeline. So thank you for joining here today. You guys are all being held at gunpoint for me to talk to you for like the next 30 minutes about the Five Nights at Freddy's timeline. Actually, that's not really accurate. So obviously FNAF games are super convoluted. There's actually several timelines, the most obvious ones being obviously like the game ones, and then if you have the books, there's like a whole book series, and there's also a graphic novel series, and there were other games, and it's like crazy. So for this lecture, in quotation marks, we will be focusing on the main timeline, which is from FNAF 1 all the way to FNAF 6. So the first Five Nights at Freddy's all the way to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator.
Security breach isn't canon.
Security breach, well, I won't even get into that. So, lore dump time. So, I'm going to be talking about lore only. So, I'm not even going to talk about the history of the game development. I'm not even going to bring up Scott. This is the only time I'm going to be bringing up Scott Cawthon. Hi, Larry. This is the only time we'll be bringing up Scott Cawthon. I'm not even going to talk about, like, what the games are or where we got this information from. I'm just going to, like, tell you the entire lore because if I went through everything, that was going to take way too long. Also, this is my interpretation of the timeline. Obviously, not everything is set in stone, mainly because all of this information is like pieced together from like bits and pieces of like information, right? All of this info is actually coming from this one specific video. It is an hour long. It's actually not that long if you consider every other timeline video. Like Wendigoons is like 2 hours long. There's like an 8-hour long video, and I was about to watch that one, but it's too long. I think this is great. I think he really nailed it in terms of like the timeline and all of the events, and I think he explained everything really well. Anyway, let's roll fast, gang. So let's actually get into this, right? So it all starts in the 1970s, where William Afton, aka Purple Guy, and Henry Emily, his partner, opens the first Fredbear's Family Diner. So what is Fredbear's Family Diner? I'm gonna go really fast because I have to do something at the very end. So the restaurant had two animatronics, the titular Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, and these animatronics were spring-locked suits, which meant that they could be worn like costumes. The only issue is that the spring locks will unlatch from moisture, which means all of like the metal animatronic parts will fold in, and it will kill anyone who's inside of it. So that's pretty dangerous, right? That's totally not foreshadowing. Anyway, after the success of Fredbear's Family Diner, Afton and Emily start a franchise business called Fazbear Entertainment, where they opened, in 1983, they opened a new restaurant chain called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is the restaurant that is in the first FNAF game. This is home to the classic animatronics, including Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. All right, let's go over some characters real quick. So William Afton does have a wife. She is not named, but he also has kids. His eldest son is Michael Afton. His daughter is Elizabeth Afton, and he has a youngest son named Evan unofficially. We actually don't know his name, but people sometimes call him Evan. Sometimes he's called Garrett. Sometimes, whatever. Anyway, Henry Emily also had a wife, and he has a daughter named Charlie. All right, tragedy. So William and his wife did not have a good and healthy relationship, causing them to divorce and share custody over their children. Eventually, his wife died. Nobody knows how she died. She's just dead. And he buried her body just outside his home in the middle of the woods. That's what that little circle is. It's really dark. You can't really see it, but there's like a grave, like an unmarked grave, like a little dirt pile. Anyway, so Evan was really attached to his father. That's the crying child. That's the little boy. So he would often sneak out of his room to go visit her grave. William does not like this, so he would normally stand outside in a Spring Bonnie costume to stop him from running away. If you could see here, there are footprints right outside his window to stop him from running away because he's a really good father. This eventually causes Evan to be scared of the animatronics, especially the ones in Fredbear's Family Diner, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. All right, so William Afton's a great guy, Purple Guy. So William grew really resentful of Henry Emily, his partner, because he has his own happy family. So one night in a drunken rage, he drove up to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and took the life of his first victim, Charlie Emily, the daughter of Henry Emily. All right, so Charlie was at an event at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza where a group of children locked her outside of the restaurant. The puppet, which is another animatronic at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, was supposed to protect her, but he was trapped underneath a box by the same children and couldn't save her. So once the puppet was freed, it eventually got out into the rain to Charlie's body, and unknowingly Charlie's soul possesses the puppet. This is gonna happen like all the time, by the way. Anytime somebody dies near animatronic, they are gonna get possessed. Just roll with it. William Afton witnesses this phenomenon and decides to start experimenting on Remnant. Remnant is a really cringe, like, soul juice, and you use it to inject souls into animatronics, and it's crazy, but I'm not even gonna get into it. Anyway, Circus Baby's Pizza World. William drifts away from Henry and founds Afton Robotics. He starts his own restaurant called Circus Baby's Pizza World. The animatronics were specially designed by William to kill children and take their remnant, or like possess their souls, essentially. All right, the Bite of 83, what everybody was waiting for. In 1983, Michael and his friends put him, it's supposed to be Evan, so Michael and his friends put Evan in Fredbear's mouth as a prank because it's his birthday. However, the Fredbear animatronic then closed its mouth with Evan in it, killing him in the process. William then puts him back together again, and now Evan is in possession of the Fredbear animatronic, and that is what is known as the Bite of 83, not the Bite of 87. So moving on from 1983, because a lot of stuff just happened. Following Evan's death, Freddy Fazbear's Fredbear's Family Diner closes, and the Fredbear animatronics are given new accessories, and he's renamed to Golden Freddy because he murdered a child. The spring-locked suits are then distributed among the remaining Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. However, an incident involving 2 employee deaths caused the spring-locked suits to be discommissioned for use for the rest of the run. The Missing Children of 1985. In 1985, Michael Afton, dressed in a spring Bonnie suit, lures 5 children to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and he kills them. The puppet, again, who is possessed by Charlie Emily, the daughter of Henry Emily, then guides the 5 souls to the animatronics. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. If you're keeping count, yes, there are 2 souls in Golden Freddy. We're not even going to talk about it. It is possible. There are 2 of them.
Michael?
Sorry, William. My bad, that's a typo. Anyway, closing and opening. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closes in 1985 due to the missing children's incident. 2 years later, in 1987, the restaurant reopens with new and improved toy versions of the animatronics. And those are Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, and Toy Chica. The Missing Children and the Bite of 87, the actual Bite of 87. So, William gets rehired as a night shift guard and kills another 5 children at this new location in 1987. He gets moved to the day shift under suspicion, and a new night shift guard gets hired named Jeremy Fitzgerald. After 1 week, Jeremy is moved to the day shift for one last birthday party where he is bit by a possessed animatronic in what is known as the Bite of 87. So that is actually the Bite of 87. So, you know, is that the Bite of every... Okay, yeah. Anyway, Michael Afton's back. Michael Afton, William's remaining child, begins taking jobs at Fazbear Entertainment establishments looking for his father. He takes several lives, such as Fritz Smith in 1987 and Mike Schmidt in 1993. So those are the 2 checks that you get in the game when you play as him. How good are we on time? We're actually really good on time. I'm going way fast. All right, Springtrap. William is still out and about, dismantling animatronics to take their remnant and continue experimenting on them. The spirits of the children from the 1985 incident trap William in a room, who runs inside a Spring Bonnie suit to hide. Unfortunately, the spring locks in the suit come unlatched because of the moisture in the room, and they kill William inside of it. And you guys know the deal. If somebody dies near an animatronic, he's going to possess the animatronic. That's how it goes. Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental. Michael begins working at Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental, where Baby, again, possessed by his sister Elizabeth, if you guys weren't aware, is located at. So Baby and the rest of the Funtime animatronics join together to form this entity called Ennard, and they scoop out Michael's insides to take his body, kind of like Body Snatcher style. So they kind of like wear his skin like a suit, because that's really cool and fun. When Michael's body begins to rot to the point of turning purple, so he's like the actual purple guy. He's like legitimately purple. Ennard leaves, but somehow Michael is still alive because he's cool like that. He's just built different. And that's also what FNAF Lord does to a motherfucker. Okay, next. All right, Fazbear Frights. In 2023, this year, in our year of the Lord 2023, 30 years after the last Freddy Fazbear's Pizza closed, which was in 1993, a new attraction dedicated to the tragedies revolving Fazbear Entertainment opens as Fazbear Nights. So, Fazbear Nights, the employees there gather all of the memorabilia. Oh, shit. All of the memorabilia from all of the previous incarnations, including Fredbear's Family Diner, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and they all coagulate in this one area called Fazbear Nights. So Michael returns to work at this establishment where his father is actually reborn as Springtrap, because remember, he died in his suit, and now he possesses the suit. Michael attempts to burn down the place to kill his father, but just like his son, he survives what should have been an event that killed him. He's gonna do that a lot. All right, this brings me to my favorite part of this entire thing. So, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. After being away from the situation for so long, again, we haven't talked about Henry Emily in a while. Ever since his daughter died, he's just kind of been out of the picture. But he finally decides to come back, and he opens Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place as a front to capture and destroy the remaining possessed animatronics. Once the puppet, who is Lefty, Scrap Baby, Molten Freddy, who is also Ennard, and Springtrap arrive, with Michael Afton working as the night shift again. Henry sets the building on fire, killing everyone inside, including himself. If you guys ever get the chance to, you should listen to Henry's speech at the end of the game. It's really banger. He goes really hard. And I think it's just like really well voice acted, and it's a really great speech. All right, the darkest pits of hell. So the spirit of William Afton, unlike the rest of the spirits, actually does not go to like heaven or whatever afterlife. Instead, it is trapped, while still trapped inside the Spring Bonnie suit, it was sent to eternal damnation, where his soul is forever tormented by Cassidy, one of the souls that's inside the Golden Freddy suit. And I think that's it. That's the entire Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through 6 timeline. I really thought that would take longer, but we really breezed through it. All right. We do have something. Oh shit, there's more. Why Five Nights at Freddy's? Oh yeah, there's actually a point to this lecture. So, What makes Five Nights at Freddy's like such an iconic game series? Why does everybody want to talk about it? Why is there a movie coming out that I'm gonna go watch later today? That's the reason why I think that is because the entire narrative was told only through the mini games, solving cipher puzzles, digging through source code, and overanalyzing literally every single pixel and text found in the game. And whenever you present narrative in this way, in a way that is interactive to its audience, it keeps the audience engaged. That's why people have been following Five Nights at Freddy's, like the entire game series, for this long. Even with new games like Security Breach, maybe they're not as popular as the original 6 games, or 7 games if you count Ultimate Custom Night. Maybe they're not as popular, but they still have kind of that same essence, that same lore that's hidden beneath all of like that source code and all of that game engine. And that's the reason why Five Nights at Freddy's is like kind of cool, I guess. I threw up this entire presentation in like 2 hours last night, but yeah, it's all good. Does anyone have any kind of questions? Because we do have time for a special activity here at the end.
I have a question.
Yes.
Was that the bite of 87?
Is that the bite of yeah. This is the bite of 87. This is not the bite of 87. There is some confusion. This
I've
is
been misinformed.
all right. So, oh, you have a question?
You forgot to tell everyone that it's just a theory.
It's
A
just
game
a theory. A game theory. I don't know what he says after that.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. All right.